Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Choo-choo.
John beat it to you. Did you see that in the comments?
No, I did not.
Yeah, anyhow, he's got do or something like that. I'm not sure that's exactly how you do it, but that's all right. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Brush.
That's good. There I see it. It just popped up for me.
This is Bob Graham. John. And happy Monday morning to everyone. This is today's Antidote. If you didn't pick that up from the intro, that we've been doing this since March, and just giving everyone a chance to find out that one thing that can help them, whether that's today, tomorrow, next week, next year, sometime down in the future. So our topic this week is what really matters to you, or what really matters is the topic for the week. And today we thought we'd focus on to you, to the individual person. You know, we could have just said we're going to talk about health, could have talked about your job, could have talked about family.
I see what you did there, Tom. What Tom isn't saying is that was my original suggestion for this.
Well,
and he is turning my lack of brilliance into art. So please proceed.
That's not what I was trying to do, and that's okay. Wait till you see how I turn this around. So one of the things that, we do this show every day, and we get on, and usually it won't give you all the details behind the scenes, but we get on, and sometimes it's at 8 o'clock. Sometimes it's at 8:01.
Oh boy.
A couple times it's been at 8:05, and I think many of the times it's not intentional. We're talking about something, or we have some little technical issue that's going on, that somebody's internet, or I'm trying to fix the graphics, or something that's happening. And so sometimes it's not always at 8. And why I think it's important that this show is about what really matters and talking about to you is that you're the only one who can decide what really matters to you, right? We can talk to you or talk at you about what we think should matter, but that wouldn't be what's real for you. And what I learned this morning is that Bob hates being late, and that matters to him. And he had never shared that before. And not that I like to be late, but I also understand that things happen and sometimes it doesn't. But now that I know that it drives Bob nuts, I'm going to do my best to make sure every day we start at 8, because that matters to him. And if I'm trying to have what's real for me connect and do something to help him, I want to know what's real for him so that now I can work for it. And we'll get a little bit more about that tomorrow. But I thought it was an interesting statement and just a good way to start the morning about trying to understand what really matters, and that what really matters to each of us is unique. What do you think about that, Bob? How about that for an opening?
I did not see that coming around the corner at all. And Tom, I should be clear. There are two aspects of being late. One is when we have the technical glitches, and that can't be helped. But there are times when you and I just don't get there at 8 o'clock. Like today, I think we could have been ready at 8 o'clock, and it was 8:02. And those are the days that I have issues with, because I value people's time. I value my time. And to me, when you say something's going to happen at a certain time, that's a commitment to that time. That's not a fluid thing. I belong to a group of people where I shared my concerns about being late with them, and 3 or 4 of the people in the group of 7 started to be on time. They were even early. They complained about it, but they'd be like, Bob, I know this matters to you. One is consistently late every time. And the group looks at this person differently because it's consistently late. And to me, being late is a sign of disrespect. Now, it doesn't matter. I think, in the big picture, it doesn't matter. But you're right. To me, every day that we've been late, I've felt like tense. like, oh my God, we're doing something wrong. I can't believe it. Now, for you, I know you're much more laid back, and not that you're late for appointments. I mean, we've had coffee a number of times before the pandemic, and you were never late for anything. So I know that's not typical for you, but we're a little looser with this. But I don't know where to go with this, Tom, because I feel completely exposed.
You like it when that happens, right? Well, here's the thing.
No, for the record, the court will not like that statement.
All right. Just depends on what definition you take of that. So, and I think what's interesting to me is that we each have things that are different, that are what matter to us. What's helpful to know is why does it matter that way? You know, me hearing that story better helps me understand what's important for you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we need to know what's important for the other person. And this was going to get wonky because tomorrow's topic is really about understanding your audience, or what's important for them. And I think it's really important not only that you know what's important for you and you share that so that others know and can be respectful of what that looks like. You know, and I think there's one of the things that, did the person who was always late ever share why they were late? And if there was something that was more important to them that kept them from being on time?
No, it was mismanagement, because I asked one day.
Okay.
I was like, hey, it seems like you're often late. It's like, yeah, I just can't seem to get my pieces in order. And I'm always looking for this or that, or, you know, just what I would call, you know, in my head, it's like disrespectful to people. And that's me. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't mean, but for me, that's disrespect. Just like there are things that if I say the word failure, you immediately jump on that and go, no, I don't like that word. That's just something for you. And I don't think we have to completely change who we are because of what people tell us in these things. But it does add to our knowledge, experience, and perspective that I know that the word failure is a hot button word for you. So I was working on my book yesterday and I had the word failure in there and I'm trying to write around it. Finally, I was like, you know what? When Tom reads this, he's just going to have to accept the word failure because failure is the right word here. But I did put parentheses, Tom Brush hates this word.
Yeah, I don't know that I hate the word. It's a word. I don't get that much emotion about it. I just think that it's, for me, what matters to me is that people not think about the word failure. They think about it in a different way. It's still a word, it's still in the dictionary, I guess. Maybe I can petition to have it taken out. And I think that it's also about what's important to us is what prioritize. And I think we'll get to that again later in the week. There's a lot of foreshadowing going on in this.
I was going to say.
And I think that sometimes drives what matters to me. So sometimes we don't think about it. And like, while you really valued that appointment and you wanted to be there early because you wanted to get started right on time, for the other person, it might not have been as important. It didn't matter as much to them, which is maybe why they didn't prioritize and didn't make it on time. And I think it's one of the things that's helpful is that when we share what's real for us, what matters for us, it helps others better understand who and what we are, right? And I think that's the challenge sometimes, is that what's real for me is likely never going to always align with someone else, even though we may be in similar situations where you would assume that what's real for us is the same. And so how we pull that together and how we better understand what really matters, not only to me, but how do I share that? How do I share that so others understand what's real for me? Does that make any sense?
It does. The other thing that strikes me, Tom, is after sharing that with you this morning, we've been doing this for over 9 months now, and that's the first time I've shared that with you. Even though I feel like I shouldn't have said it, I also feel like a big relief is off of me. Like, you get this, and so if we get to 7:58 and things aren't working, you'll be like, Bob, it's cool. We're not doing brain surgery here. It's okay. And you can manage me through that. And we can manage the other person, just like with my book. Tom's not going to like this word, and I can manage that experience. If we don't know what the other person, how they see the world, we can't manage that situation at all. And I think that's one of the challenges that we face is absent information from the other person. We can't know what they're looking for. And the best example I can give is some people like to text, some people like email, some people like phone calls, some people like in-person meetings. With my clients, it's the whole gamut. If I'm texting them and they're seeing that as a huge annoyance, it's convenient for me. I love to text. I could text all day. But to them, they're going, whoa, there's a lack of synchronicity there. And I think that's where knowing what we believe is the start of it. You know, what are the things that are important to me every day? Being on time is really important to me. Other things are important to me. I can't even think what they're off the top of my head, but that's one that I wrestle with each day, that it seems like that one can be in conflict. Like I used to work at a job where the staff meeting was always 10 to 15 minutes late. I would walk into those meetings really upset. Like, you know, what the heck? I'm here on time with my notebook. My coffee is in my hand. And these people would roll in 10, 15 minutes late and be like, oh, let me go grab a cup of coffee. Oh, anybody got any pastries? It would be 25 minutes until we got started. I found that to be really upsetting because when I got there 25 minutes into it, they were like, you're late. So it's that friction point, I think, that we have to be aware of, and where I think we want to start today is, what are those things that cause you to get antsy, nervous, that other people may not know about you? Because I think it starts with me being honest with myself. This really bothers me. I regret that it took me 9 months to tell you, Tom. I probably should have told you 2 days in, but you know, it took me that long, and I didn't even think about it when I said it today. That's the funniest thing. It was just like, yeah, whatever. And you could tell my tone was like, yeah, Tom, by the way, I've been meaning to mention this to you.
Well, I think that's so much of what happens in life, right? Is that, one, we may not share what matters to us because of how we think others might react. And two, it might cause a reaction that might not be as, the way it is. So I was posting this morning on the Facebook. I saw a post about somebody was doing an ad for something, or a promotional piece for an end of year giving campaign. And they posted something that I thought was really not that impactful. And I thought, well, I could just say what everybody else is saying. So, yeah, it looks good. You might want to change the text, or you might want to add a different photo, or do whatever. Or what mattered to me is that I thought I should add something that was helpful, help them. They're asking for help. If that's what's real for them, they're asking for help, then I should share what matters with me. And I'll be interested to see the response, because I was like, I don't think this is going to be impactful. It does not impact me. What you are sharing, that has no priority for me. So why is that that's not going to necessarily encourage me to act. Now, there might be somebody else that it might be. And I think that's part of the challenge with our businesses, is that we know what's important to us, what matters to us as leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, whatever it is that you're doing. And it's important to share that. We also have to understand that not everybody is going to be receptive to that, or share that that's what's important for them. And so I think it can really be about what matters, and understanding that. Because if we don't, we are going to be on different pages, and we're going to miss out. And since John has given permission, I'll share. So Bob and John and I had set up a date to go play golf about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Don't I have to give permission to a story that involves me?
No, you're in the show, so you don't.
Wow.
All right, John and I were going to go play golf.
No, it's okay. I'm just messing with you.
And so, well, here's the interesting thing. So it was a Friday afternoon, and we had somebody else who was going to play. And as it came to Friday morning, the weather looked horrible. It was going to rain. Now, growing up in upstate New York, I'm like, I've played in the rain forever. I'm fine, I'll do it. I don't care. And then we just decided that it wasn't worth it because the weather was going to be that. Each of us had a different idea of what mattered about that. And if we weren't on the same page, for some of us, it was an opportunity to go play golf. For some of us, an opportunity to get together. Some of us, there was a thought that there might be some business done at this and that was valuable, and it didn't matter whether it was on the golf course or somewhere else. It was like a business appointment. And so in the end, we weren't all on the same page at that moment because we didn't understand what was important to each of us. We didn't share that. There were miscommunications. And I think those are the things that happen is that if
not miscommunications, Tom, let me just jump in. Lack of communication.
Okay.
Right? Because we didn't have that. We didn't set that up at the beginning. Hey, let's play golf Friday. And here are the objectives of this. This is a work time event because we're going to be talking about how we can help each other in those things. We didn't have that discussion. We kind of just threw it together, which happens all the time. I'm not blaming anyone, but It gets to the point that we can't know what people's expectations are until we know what they are.
Correct. And I think that's, sometimes we don't share what really matters to us. And I think that's, I think that would be if we were, I'm not sure we're there yet, but if we are, that's what's important is that my one takeaway from this, not that you asked, but that's okay, is that others won't know what's important for us unless we tell them. And if we're not sharing that, there's going to likely be, the communication is not going to be there. And there could be reactions that you're not expecting.
I don't know what to do now, Tom, because you took the whole fanfare about what today's antidote was and just threw it out the window by just dropping it in there so smoothly. I like to be like, and Tom, what's that one thing that's going to change us, radically improve everything that's going on in our life that can make us better people? You're just like, well, I think it would be this. It doesn't have the same vibrance. So I'm hoping people are going to forget that. Let's put some comments up, and then I might come back and get you to say it again with the fanfare.
Okay.
John says time matters, and I would agree. John says he's worse than me by far about lateness. Yeah, indeed. It took this long for you to figure this out, Tom. I like that quote. Tim says my granddad used to say, if you're 5 minutes early, you're already late. And I think Tim is joining us from very far on the western part of the U.S. And it's got to be like 5 a.m. over there. So thank you, Tim, for showing the commitment. John says that's also something Bob needs to decide if he needs to work on or not. Oh, so many things. And another John says, exposed and not intoxicated, we should talk soon. I like it. Tim says, you hate that word, Tom, admit it. I think he's talking about the word failure. I would agree with that. John said earlier, are you talking about me when we were talking about the whole time issue? Carrie joins in with, wait, there it goes. Sometimes anger comes out and at times gets out of control. Yeah. Tom and I try to avoid that. And Steve says, there goes Tom blowing the show structure again. Yep, it's always Tom. It's never me blowing the structure. I like the way Steve thinks. And then Tim adds that insomnia is killing him. True. That brought us up to speed on the comments, Tom, which is great because now everyone's completely forgotten that one thing that you told us before. So we can't go any further until you tell us today's antidote, that one thing we can do to overcome all those external changes in the world and really make things better in a small way.
Yeah, I'm going to jump back. Sorry. I'm messing up the structure once again, which I'm sure you will tell me afterwards that the structure matters. And so I'll have to.
No, it doesn't.
So this, Carrie shared this, and I think this is, and John sort of added to that it's hard to do this sometimes, is that Carrie says, I get uncomfortable during certain tasks, not sure how to share it with the other person because they are in a place of not always having healthy communication. And I think that's the challenge, is that we don't always want to share because we're uncertain of what the reaction is going to be. And I think that's the piece that we have to get more comfortable with is not worrying about the reaction, or at least understanding that what we are sharing is not right. It's just real for us. And if we just share it because it's real for us, and we share it in a way that's saying, hey, look, just want to let you know that what I'm saying, I don't think is right. It's just real for me. So that if I share that with you, you can be like, okay, now I know that, and I can decide what to do with that. Because I think so often we're worried, are we right or wrong? Are they going to think they think I'm right or wrong? When in reality, if we just share, this is what's real for me, and share it in that kind of a way, I think we can start to have better conversations. And it's not just a matter of like, this is the way it has to be. It's just, this is what's real for me. And I wanted you, because I care about you, I wanted you to know that this is what's real for me. And you can now choose whether you receive that as a gift or it's just out there. You're not ready to receive that yet. And that's okay. How's that?
That was good. I'm going to give us some more comments. We've got so many comments. John says, I like that you read them all. I think he means the comments. Steve says, just wait for when you blow the show structure, Bob. That shouldn't take long. Carrie says, speak the truth in love and pray before you start the conversation. And John says, agreed to Tom. John says, I'm sharing. I expected you two to call and go golfing today. That's funny. I like playing you and Bob figure out what I like playing you and Bob figure out what I'm thinking. I gotta get John to start using some punctuation. It's hard to read his comments sometimes.
So John, now you know what's real for Bob is that he likes punctuations. He's a writer, so he likes punctuation.
Don't even go there. That's now you're digging a hole for me, Tom.
No, I'm just sharing what's real for me as I see it.
Yes. So what does it mean if you see something that you know is real for me that I've never shared with you that affects a third person? What happens then?
I don't know. It's just real for me. I'm sharing, and every time we share, right, there's the opportunity that people will react differently to it. So in some regards, do we want to calculate what we share? Sure. Or more importantly, do we calculate the way we share it? Because somebody's going to need it. And if we share it, yes, is there a chance that you have an adverse reaction to it? Yes. Is there also the chance that it might open up things and they might better understand who you are and what matters to you? And might that in the end make it a better relationship? Probably.
And that's certainly the case with clients. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why when we start working with new clients or customers, we have to understand what's important to them. I had an auto mechanic at one point that I worked with, and he knew that I liked to know what was coming. So he would tell me, he's like, hey, just so you have a heads up, you're going to have to buy tires next time you come in. So figure in about 4 or 5 months, you're going to need about $1,000, $1,500 for tires. That was like gold to me, to be able to plan that and know that. So when I came in that next time, it was like, hey, it's time for tires. I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, here's the check, go. That was important to me. Other people, because he told someone else, do you want to know what's coming next? And the guy was like, no, I just want to drive my car.
Right.
Different perspective on the same situation. And the mechanic had the information in both cases. With me, he learned, share the information. With the other person, not important. Now, to that other person, what was important to him was he wanted to be treated like royalty. When he walked in, it was a red carpet event. And so he was treated differently than me. The mechanic would get him a cup of coffee. If I was waiting, I was like, dude, it's right there. I know what I'm doing. It's all different for us. And I think with our customers, it makes a difference. That relationship really does get better.
It does. And that's about what's important to them. So we'll get to that more tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sorry. I blew the whole structure.
No, you didn't. That's all right. The question is, do you share with your clients what's important to you?
More and more, yes. Yes, I do. And here's why. I think if you're going to have a good, productive relationship, you need to have that kind of back and forth.
Okay. Well, I think to me, that's the question.
Right.
So often in business, we feel like we have to bow to everything that our client or our customer wants, even if it impacts something that's important to us. And I think that's the important thing about sharing what's important to you. Because otherwise, people won't know. And they will just do things and not understand why you're reacting the way that you're reacting. So now everybody knows exactly what we're going to talk about tomorrow.
I was going to say, and I have a great example now. So, Tom, why don't we close this out? We've covered a lot of ground. I want to put Carrie's comment up. It's a red carpet event when I enter the room. I like that. That's a nice. I want to be in a room when Carrie walks in now. And John says you and he should show up late every day now. I guess just to mess with me because
Here's the funny thing, and I'll tell one quick story. The first time we went to play golf, who was there first?
You were.
What time did you guys show up?
Maybe 10 minutes before we started?
Yeah, that might be pushing it. Maybe like 5 minutes, which again, typically I'm like, I want to get there early. Well, one, I didn't know where I was really going.
Right.
Two, I wanted to make sure that everything was squared away and taken care of. And then I was just waiting around and I was like, are these guys going to show up? When are they going to get there? And because I've been doing it for so long, and because for me it's golf and the opportunity to be out there and do it, it didn't really matter. It mattered because I like to get there early, but it didn't matter enough that I was ever going to say anything. But I think since we're talking about it, it was just an interesting thought of, for me, it matters that I get there and I make sure I know what I'm doing and where I'm going and what I'm doing, what I want to do and how I want to have it set up. And threw me a little bit. I was like, okay, do I have the right place? Are they going to make it? What's going to happen if we miss our exact tee time?
I was stressing all those things as I was driving up the road, Tom.
Well, you're a person who worries about being late, so definitely you were probably doing that. All right, people. So there are many opportunities. I guess I would just wrap with that when we don't share what's important to us, and we have to choose when we want to share it, that's going to help others. Let's be able to communicate. And I think we're going to have the opportunity to have better relationships, better connections, and really be clear on what matters. So if you haven't joined our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, you should come and be a part of it. We have discussions like this all the time. Well, not like this all the time, but we have a lot of discussions all the time about topics that are important to your business, to your work, sometimes even to what's going on in your life. And so if you want to join us, go to Facebook and search for Ring of Renegades. It's a private Facebook group. We want to create a safe space where people can come in and share what's going on, and others will not only share as well, but they'll also provide some feedback and thoughts and ideas about what's real for them. Otherwise, you can join us every morning, 8 a.m. Eastern. Going forward now, it's 8 a.m. Eastern, not around 8 a.m. Eastern.
I see what you did. I didn't catch it until you said it. I was like, why is he emphasizing this? And then I realized. So we'll be synchronizing our clocks today?
Do you have to synchronize your clocks anymore, or are they just automatically always synchronized?
I don't have the answer. If anyone knows, please let us know. I mean, my watch isn't synchronized.
True.
Right?
The clock on your computer probably is the same as mine.
Yes. We'll test it later today.
Okay. There we go. So we'll see you tomorrow for our next edition of today's Antidote. And just one final thing before I close. Bob and I are having some open office hours over the next 2 weeks. We thought it would be an opportunity for us to share and to help people out so they can share what's real for them. And maybe we can help them be better prepared to go into 2021. So again, there are opportunities, and we'll have a link for that available to sign up for your own complimentary laser solution session They will be limited because we only have 2 weeks. And I know what's going to matter to us is that we're not working every hour of every day. So we want to share that with you. And we also want to help others out. So thanks for joining us today on this extended version of today's Antidote. We will see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. or we'll see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. Have a great day, everyone, and be well. Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.